Example 1, differentiate y equals x squared sine of x. So, what I want to notice here, y equals this product, x squared is a function of x, and sine of x is a function of x. Alright? There's no way using algebra to make x squared sine of x into anything simpler than x squared sine of x. Okay, so in chapter 3.4 we did a lot of derivatives, and even 3.3 did a lot of derivatives. The structures were, by algebra, able to be modified quite often to something simpler. Once you start getting into trigonometric expressions, you can't get rid of that structure a lot of times. So this is a product, so the product rule must be applied. The product rule says we do 1d2 plus 2d1. 1 means function 1 as is. d2 means derivative of function 2. 2 means function 2 exactly as is, and d1 means derivative of function 1. So when you see a product of functions, that's your first priority. Identify a function 1 and a function 2 to apply the product rule. So if I go y prime equals, and I do 1d2, that's going to be 1 function 1 x squared exactly as it is. d2 is derivative of sine of x, which is cosine of x. Then there's a plus sign because the rule says plus. Alright, so apply the rule exactly as it's written, do what it tells you to do, get the proper structure of your answer in there. And then 2 is function 2 exactly as it is, that's sine of x. d1 is derivative of function 1, which would be 2x. So that's the calculus step in that problem. I applied the product rule to find the derivative of x squared sine of x. That is the derivative of x squared sine of x. The only thing I can do at this point now to make it any prettier is to simplify it out if I can. Just like I couldn't do x squared times sine of x, I can't really do x squared times cosine of x. I don't really need the parentheses anymore though. And then sine x times 2 of x, again, I can't do anything to make that simpler, but I like my things that aren't trig functions to be in front, so I would probably make it plus 2x sine of x. And that is the first derivative of x squared sine of x. So again, it's got a product structure, the product rule must be used. Back in chapter 3.3, we had the ability to using algebra to get rid of products quite often. Now when we get to trig functions, a lot of times products can't be modified, so you have to use the product rule. So again, become familiar with this, and again, make sure you do exactly what it's supposed to do. The main error people make here, y equals 2x cosine of x. Y prime line. They'll differentiate that, they'll make up the I'm a high school senior and I know better than the book rule of differentiation, and that usually doesn't go very well. So make sure that, again, this is the rule required for that structure. This is not and never will be correct.